Hi everyone, how you doing? My name is Isnel Lubin. I'm from Jeremy AD. I am an agronomist. I have studied at New University of Grandins from 2019 to 2024. I am currently working as an English teacher. I've been teaching English for more than 5 years, and in today's lesson, I decide to share my knowledge with anyone who wants to increase his English level. So I have to tell you guys, the course that I'm going to do is specially designed for students who are in secondary 4. In the lesson of today, I am going to talk about active and passive. What is active and what is passive voice? A sentence is in active voice when the subject does the action or the subject performs the action. However, in passive sentence, the subject is not the doer of the action. The subject receives the action. I am going to take one example about active voice. The cat eats the mouse. The cat eats the mouse. This is an active sentence, an active voice sentence. To transform a sentence from active to passive voice, first of all, you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object. After identifying the subject, the verb, and the object, you are going to move the object to the subject position. And then you are going to conjugate to be according to the form of the verb used in the active voice sentence. Then you will put by if the subject is necessary. Okay, now we are going to transform or to change the sentence from active voice to passive voice. The cat eats the mouse. The cat is the subject. Eat, this is the verb to eat, and the mouse, this is the direct object. Right now, the object will become subject. That's to say, the mouse, okay, the mouse. Now, I am going to conjugate the verb to be in present tense because the verb to be, to eat, was in present. The mouse, this is a singular subject. I will say the mouse is, and then I will put the past participle of the main verb, which is to eat. The past participle of the verb to eat is eaten. I put it, okay, eaten, okay, by the cat. Okay, right now we have a passive voice sentence. The mouse is eaten by the cat. Okay, as I told you guys, when you have an active voice sentence, to transform this phrase, this sentence to passive voice, you have to first of all move the object to the subject position, and then you conjugate the verb to be at the same tense with the main verb, and after that you put the past participle of the main verb plus by plus the subject if the subject is necessary. Because sometimes when you have a subject, for example, someone, when you have someone or somebody, okay, these are indefinite pronoun, so when they are used as subject they are not necessary because they are unknown. For example, someone explains the note. Someone explains the note, which is, what is the subject? Someone is the subject. Explain, this is explains, this is the verb to explain in present tense, and the note, okay, this is the object. Okay, verb and object. We are going to move the object to the subject position. That's to say the note is explained. Okay, explained. Okay, explained is the past participle of the verb to explain. Then you will put, if the subject was necessary, I will put by. However, I have someone, the subject is unknown, I just say the note is explained. Okay. I believe you understand what I am doing. So, as I was telling you guys, to change a sentence from active to passive voice, you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object. After identifying subject, verbs, and object, you have to move the object to the subject position, as I do here. Okay, the cat eats the mouse, so you say the mouse. Okay, this is the object, and I move it to the subject position, and then I conjugate the verb to be at the same tense with the main verb, which is to eat in present tense. It's, I say the mouse is eaten by the cat. Another example where the subject is unknown. Someone explains the note. Someone explains the note. Someone is the subject. Explain is the verb to explain. This is the verb, and the note, okay, the note is the object. So to transform to passive voice sentence, I move the object to the subject position. I say the note, and I conjugate the verb to be in present tense, and then I put the past participle. I don't say by someone because someone is an indefinite pronoun, so the subject is unknown. Let me take another example in past tense. Yesterday, she studied. She studied her lesson. Yesterday, she studied her lesson. Yesterday, this is a time marker for the past tense, for simple past tense. She studied, she is the subject, study is the verb, and her lesson is the object. So, to transform from active to passive voice, you just move the object to the subject position. Her, okay, her lesson. Her lesson. Okay, now we are going to conjugate the verb to be in past tense, and then we will put the past participle of the verb to study, which is study. This is a regular verb. Her lesson was, okay, the verb to be, and I put the past participle of the verb to study, which is study. Okay, yesterday, okay, her lesson was studied by her yesterday. Okay, yeah. Yesterday she studied her lesson. Okay, the sentence is in active voice. So to transform to passive voice, firstly, you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the direct object. And then you are going to move the object to the subject position, and then you are going to conjugate the verb to be at the same tense with the main verb. The main verb is study. After that, I put the past participle of the verb to study, which is studied, and I put by her. I say by her because I had a subject which was a subject pronoun. Okay, this is she. Okay, I say by her. Okay, in the same way, if I had I, you, he, she, we, they, I would say by me, by you, by him, by her, by us, by and by them. Okay, by them, when for example I have this subject pronouns as subject, so we always say, but when I use I subject, I say by me, okay, you by you, he by him, her, she by her, we by us, they and by them. Sometimes we can have, for example, no one, or nobody. Nobody as subject. For example, no one eats the food. No one eats the food. The subject here is no one. Here is the subject. Okay, eats. This is the verb to eat in present tense, the third person. Okay, the verb to eat, and the object is the food. Also, to transform this sentence to passive voice, firstly, I identify the subject, the verb, and the object. And then I am going to move the object to the subject position. Guys, as I told you, when you have no one in a sentence, so in passive voice, you will put the verb to be in negative form. No one eats the food. Firstly, I identify the subject, the verb, and the object. I will move the object to the subject position. I say the food. Now I will conjugate to be in present tense in negative form. The food isn't eaten. I put that because no one, okay, the subject is not necessary. So I don't have to say the food isn't eaten by no one. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Just say the food isn't eaten. Okay, the food isn't eaten. Active voice. In active voice, the subject does the action. The subject performs the action. However, in active voice, the subject receives the action. To transform a sentence from active to passive voice, first of all, you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object. After identifying subject, verbs, and object, you have to move the object to the subject position, and then you have to conjugate the verb to be according to the tense used in the active voice sentence. And then you place the past participle of the main verb. When I say main verb, I am talking about the verb which was used in the active voice sentence. And then, if the subject is necessary, I put by and I put the subject. However, okay, as I was saying, to transform a sentence from active to passive voice, you have to identify the subject, the verb, and the object. Et ce que je viens de vous dire, mes chers amis, et lorsqu'on a une phrase à la voix active et qu'on veut transformer cette phrase de la voix active à la voix passive, donc la première chose que vous devez faire, c'est que vous devez identifier le sujet, le verbe et le complément. Donc après avoir identifié le sujet, le verbe et le complément, Donc vous allez déplacer le complément à la place du sujet. Par exemple, Lubin is speaking English. You say English. Maintenant, qu'est-ce que vous allez faire? Vous allez conjuguer le verbe être au même temps que le verbe principal. Donc, le verbe principal était au présent progressif. Donc, vous allez conjuguer également le verbe to be au présent progressif. Et par la suite, vous allez ajouter le participe passé du verbe principal. Et par la suite, vous allez ajouter un by, ce qui signifie par, plus le sujet dans les cas où le sujet est important. Lubin is speaking English. English is being. Maintenant, je vais ajouter le participe passé du verbe to speak, which is spoken. And then I will put by Lubin. By Lubin. Hey! Donc c'est ce que vous devez savoir pour transformer une phrase de la voix active à la voix passive. Tout d'abord, vous identifiez le sujet, le verbe et le complément. Et par la suite, vous déplacez le complément, vous le placez à la place du sujet. Par la suite, vous conjuguez le verbe être au même temps que le verbe principal. Et par la suite, vous allez ajouter by et plus le sujet. Donc si le sujet n'est pas important, donc vous n'êtes pas obligé d'ajouter le sujet. Et ensuite, comme prérequis, comme déjà là, donc pour bien maîtriser la voix active et la voix passive en anglais, donc vous devez savoir les participes passés des verbes réguliers et les participes passés des verbes irréguliers. Et ensuite, vous devez connaître le verbe to be, ce qui signifie le verbe être en anglais. Donc si vous connaissez le verbe to be, donc vous allez transformer, vous allez changer une phrase de la voix active à la voix passive avec beaucoup de facility. So, as I was saying, Lubin is teaching English. Lubin is the subject, is speaking. Here is the main verb, and English is the object. I just move English to the subject position, and then I conjugate to be, okay, in present progressive, because all the verb to speak was in present progressive. Then I add the past participle of the main verb, because the past participle is spoken. I say English is being spoken by Lubin. So it was such a great pleasure for me to teach you active and passive voice. So I would like you guys to subscribe, to share, and like the video. See you in another video so to understand better passive and active voice. Bye!